Hey everybody, this is Soph,
This is Rich.
and we are from
From
across
the
the
pond.
pond. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Oh, the dance is
All
out
right,
already.
our weekend is dwindling down. We're heading into next week. I just want to know, Miss Soph, how was your weekend?
Very quiet. I
Yeah?
went off to the supermarket yesterday with Alfie for our essential shopping and our essential outing. When we got there, there was a massive queue, the full length of the supermarket, which if I was by myself, I would most definitely have turned around and gone home. But obviously, Alfie's already seen that we're going there, so we had to go. And we stood in the queue. But what I didn't understand was there's hardly anyone in the shop. As you're walking through the shop, the side of the shop's all glass, so you can see in. Cashiers just sat at the tills with not serving anyone because there's no customers there. So I really didn't understand why we had to wait outside for so long. It was a
Interesting.
joke. But by the time we came out, the queue actually went all the way down the side of the shop and back again. So there was like a big old snake.
Well,
Strange times, kids. Strange times.
strange times.
But other than your weekend, Rich, how is your sister?
You know what my sister is doing? She's doing A-okay.
Good.
She is she was at the hospital yesterday. They did a chest x-ray because they say once you get the cough and the stuff, that means the COVID is heading to your lungs. But you know what? She did all right. They sent her back home with a bag full of antibiotics. And so I decided uh why not see what this whole big deal is? So I went and got a COVID test. And I'm going to tell you right now,
Did they stick a big stick up your nose?
yeah. And
Ooh.
it wasn't, but you know what though? It wasn't painful as what how it sounds. They take a long Q-tip and they
Hold
stick
on.
it up
What's the
into your
Q-tip?
nose.
A cotton bud?
Yeah, cotton bud, we
Yeah.
call them Q-tips. Yes.
Okay.
They stick it up in your, I mean, like way up there.
Ugh.
They like circle it around for 10 seconds. Then they pull it out. They put it in
Ugh.
this
God, it's making me feel
They
ill.
stick the other one in and around in the other nostril where it's way up here. And they stick it in. And I'm gonna tell you what the side effects of that is. It just feels like you gotta really, really sneeze. Like, you ever got I don't know if you've ever had like seasoned food and like you get like pepper or something in your nose and you gotta
Like if
sneeze
it's
real hard.
spicy?
Hmm?
Like if it's spicy?
No, like you say, like you ever have like a sneeze, but you don't sneeze, but you can feel it coming.
Oh, like something's tickling you?
Yeah, it's like a tickle, but it's way up here, and then you just like then your eyes start to water, and then
Didn't they
it's
do it?
over.
Didn't they do it in your mouth as well?
No, put
Oh.
nothing in your mouth. Why would they? I don't know. No, they didn't put
I
anything in
saw
my
on
mouth.
somebody the other day on the news had it done and they was
Oh, I don't know, but the thing about it is they said it's going to take 2 to 8 days, and I can't go back to work. Excuse me.
clearly you haven't been
I
sleeping.
know, right? I can't go back to work until I get my results back. So I'm gonna call them today and see what's the holdup.
So you're going to have your foot cotched up, having a jolly good time. Nothing to do.
Nothing to do.
Have you done anything else apart from that this weekend? Apart from have a Q-tip up your nose?
Well, you know what? Something that I haven't done in a long time, like well, now I wouldn't say all my siblings, but we had a party line yesterday with my sisters, my nieces, and my brother. And I want to tell you right now, I need to use that ab workout because I think I laughed so hard. It
What was
was
that, like a
funny.
virtual video call thing?
Yeah, because we were checking in on my sister when she was at the hospital. So she
Mm-hmm.
FaceTimed her just to give her some support.
Oh, love
And
that.
then it just turned into a laugh riot. Oh, I never laughed so hard in my life.
I've got to be fair and honest. Video calls is what got me through the first lockdown. Imagine if
Yeah.
when we was kids, when you didn't even have, well, I didn't even have a mobile phone, never mind anything else, I'd
Yeah.
hate to have been in lockdown in them times, man. No computer,
No.
no.
You mean when you used to knock on people's doors and ask them if they could come out and play?
Exactly, but you wouldn't even have
Yeah.
been allowed to do that, would you?
Mm-mm.
If the corona was there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, things happen. Things happen for a reason,
Me
I
and my
guess.
sister
I don't know
probably
what
would have
this
killed each
reason
other,
is.
to be fair.
Yeah, I don't know what this reason is, but we'll see.
So,
Yeah, so that was my weekend, and football is still on, and my team.
are
I don't
losing?
even. I watched the first half. My team really has me upset. And if people are just now tuning in, I'm a diehard Eagles fan, and right now my team, well, that whole division is terrible. So it is what it is. Mm-mm.
Okay, well, you're a ride or die, so you're not going to switch teams just because they're losing.
Oh no, mm-mm,
Mm.
mm-mm. It's just we need some people that gotta go, but that's a whole nother story. I don't,
Well,
I don't,
maybe I should
I don't
start
play.
watching them again because a few games ago, after you'd mentioned it, I actually got it on my Sky Sports here and I watched an Eagles game and they won. So clearly I am the lucky mascot. Maybe I should start watching them for you.
Maybe, but it's a little late in the game now because uh
Well,
anyway, it is Sunday, and I'm waiting for my COVID test, so that's part of my weekend. And my team is losing for what I've seen because
happy
I just
days.
turned it off. I turned it off with disgust.
Sorry about that. I've got no
Mm,
advice for you.
I know.
Have a shot of whiskey after. That normally helps.
Yeah, that normally helps, but we'll see. We'll see if the whiskey will turn things around.
You never know. They might be winning by the time you go back and see the end of the game.
Hmm.
Stranger things have happened.
Anything good going on in your news?
No, not since Friday. Same old, same old.
Me neither. So good. We don't have to talk about them.
All right. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for coming. It's been a beautiful show. It's Friday.
Yes. No good news. I mean, no news is good news.
So they say, whoever they are.
Yeah, whoever they are. I don't know who made
No
that up, but
idea.
yeah, no news is good news. So we're gonna jump right in. We're gonna jump right in.
Let's get in. Both feet in at the deep end. Let's go.
Both feet in the deep end. All
Yeah.
right. Now we had a discussion a couple episodes ago, just a brief one, about um guns.
Is that
And
when you
you
showed your shooting paper?
yeah.
Okay.
Actually, was that last I think that was last week.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Anyway, you were saying that England it's against the law to have firearms.
It is, and I can tell you, I've done my research. It is actually guns are totally banned apart from sporting rifles or shotguns. If you're in like they do fox hunting here. I don't know if
Yeah.
you have that there. Do you have that there?
No, we don't have fox hunting, but we have deer hunting here.
Okay, potato, potato, same thing. So unless you do that and you've got a license, guns are banned, and the minimum sentence if you're found with one is 5 years, because it's an offence to even possess one.
Yeah, well, that's here too. If you're caught with a weapon and you don't have a license, uh, I wouldn't say caught with one, but if you've done something and you're caught with a weapon, it is automatic 5 years. Mhm.
Okay, that's
It's
across the
about the
board
same.
then.
Yeah, it's across the board. But my thing is,
Pond.
we have a lot of mass shootings here.
Yeah,
We've
we
had a
don't have
lot.
stuff like that here.
You don't have that there? We've had a lot of mass shootings, and where I'm from in Pennsylvania, there's a lot of senseless shootings and violence. We've had some people been mistaken for someone else and been
Mhm.
killed. We have even with the pandemic, we've had multiple homicides here. It's just I don't know. My thing is if you guys are banning firearms, what is your crime rate there? Do y'all have any like
Well,
gun related crimes,
oh
or
yeah,
is it
let's be
different type
honest.
of
People
crimes?
always do stuff that they're not supposed to. Otherwise, jails would be empty and there wouldn't be no law enforcement because it wouldn't be needed. You know, people are always breaking the law left, right, and centre. If
Uh-huh.
it's not guns, it's knife crime is really big. Um, yeah, like you just said about mass shootings and stuff, we don't have stuff like that. You know, you seem to have it in schools, cinemas, all
Yeah.
churches, and all that malarkey. But I can tell you that the crime rate between March 2019 and March 2020, there was actually 5.8 million recorded crimes in England
All together in England.
altogether. And theft is apparently the most common offence in England and Wales, and 3.4 million of those were theft.
Well, I'm gonna
So
tell you
I'm
right
assuming
now,
that yours is going to be gun crime is your highest. Is that right? Or
gun crime is the highest here by far. They said that the homicide and the violence has increased since 2019, and it's during the pandemic,
See, that's really weird because
which is yeah,
London.
not the wrong cup.
Oh my God, my heart can't take it.
I'm sorry. I love this cup, my Bubba.
I'll be sending out some applications for a new co-host next week.
Never going to happen.
He's being greedy now. He's got two. Sorry, you've totally threw me off there. Yeah. So before the pandemic, you would always hear. I don't want to say on a daily basis, but really regularly about an attack or a killing or knife crime or gun crime, especially in London. Like I live literally 20 minutes outside London, so that I don't know how it works there, but here in England, depending on what county you live in, depending on what news you get to hear, do you know what I mean? They just do
Mhm.
whatever's in there.
Yeah, that area, just
Yeah,
like
that's
ours.
right.
Mhm.
So I pick up London because it's just there. Um, so before COVID, you would hear all the time, oh, there's been another stabbing, there's been another incident, there's been another this. You barely hear about it on the news since Corona and the lockdown. You barely hear about it. Before the lockdown, there was quite a few. Okay, the main crime that you tend to hear about, oh sorry, you can see my knee, was terror attacks. That was the big thing before Corona. As soon as Corona came, that's literally all you heard about on the news. And I remember saying to my dad, God, if you were a terrorist, you could literally do whatever you want and it'd go under the radar, because they literally haven't mentioned anything whatsoever other than Corona on the news. So,
Mhm.
and don't get me wrong, I'm assuming other crime is still going on. It hasn't just flicked a switch and it hasn't happened. But it's funny that you're saying your crime rate has increased since Corona.
Yepper. And I kid you not, we have local news here too. So we have like a couple of local news. I kind of fall in between two counties. So
So
we
you
get I
want to
get
hear what happens in Pennsylvania?
yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania, but I'm saying like local news. Like you say, like you got London, but then you live outside of London. Uh, I live in the capital of Pennsylvania, which is Harrisburg. So you have little counties in and around Harrisburg. So you get all the news between like two or three channels here, local news. So but here in Harrisburg, it's just outrageous. There's no regard for pandemic, and crime is crime here. So, you know, pandemic doesn't have a pick and choose. Well, crime doesn't have a pick and choose. Whether there's a pandemic or not. It's just it's just a lot. It's a
So,
lot going on
I've,
unnecessary too.
I've just thought of a question. You know, like obviously you can have guns there and stuff. Do they talk about, this might be a really dumb question. Do they talk about guns in schools, like, and teach you about stuff like that or not?
Well, you know what? When we were coming up, I don't know because I haven't been in school in a while. My kids are grown, so I don't know if they still talk about it. I remember when I was coming up, the big thing was like just say no to drugs,
Okay.
and then and I think they do talk about gun violence, but not like extensive when it comes to
So it's
school.
left to the parents at home.
Yeah, left to the parents. And I mean, they bring certain stuff up on the news. Like they have so many years they have had where you can turn in your weapon and don't get like if you don't have a license, whatever, and you
Okay.
have one,
Oh,
you
yeah,
can.
that's like an amnesty thing or something.
Yeah,
They've
they
got,
do.
yeah,
We
yeah.
have that. We have them's. We have those. I said them's. They have those.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my thing right now, the big issue now is law enforcement. against civilians.
Yeah.
And y'all have that type of, because I mean, that's in the news right now, big time. And that's police officers
You mean
abuse.
a race thing or just police against general public in
I
general?
just want to say, I'm gonna say police. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and I'm gonna just say police in general, because it to me, I mean, I haven't done the statistics, but now that everybody has a camera, what I mean, you're catching more
You
crime in the
don't get
inner city,
don't
and
get it
I mean,
twisted. The police are the same here. Don't get me wrong. Oh my God, I always feel like I'm going to get in trouble when I give my opinion. I'm really sorry. It's just my opinion. Um, Not all police are bad. I totally get that. 10,000%. My cousin is a policeman, so I know that all police are not bad. But the ones that are the bad eggs in the law enforcement have got a massive chip on their shoulder, and they have this thing where they're untouchable because they're the law, as Judge Dredd, whatever is Sylvester Stallone used to say in that film.
mhm.
So yeah, it's the same here.
But the thing about it, though, your policemen don't carry weapons. Am I correct?
No, they have batons, truncheons, sorry, and tasers. That's it.
Yeah. Well, see the problem that I'm conflicted with is the simple fact of the matter is that our police officers here have guns.
But
Okay.
do your police have guns because the general public, are allowed guns?
No, I think they've always had guns. So my thing is my thought process of it. Okay, England has banned guns. Period. So that means officers don't have guns. To me, that gives the officers a lot more creativity on how to handle situations.
Listen,
Here, I feel like an officer here that has a gun feels as though their authority is above the law when not, and like you said, let me backtrack. Not all police officers are bad. You know what I mean? Not all. But the little few that cause the ripple in that pond, you know what I mean? They make it harder for the good guy. You know?
mm-hmm.
So now since um, these inner city minority killings by cops, you know what I mean, has brought it to a forefront to where like now I feel like should our government do some research on other countries who have banned firearms and see what's working. Now, you're always going to have crime.
Mm-hmm.
That's plain and simple. But look at your crime versus our crime, like stabbings. You know what I mean? Terrorist
Well,
attacks
yeah, theft is the biggest.
and theft
Crime here.
is the biggest. Like you breaking into somebody's home, stealing something. But here we have a lot more deaths, and a lot of them now are kind of like just innocents. We had a young lady who cops busted into her house and shot her on up, and she had nothing to do with it. She was in her bed asleep. You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
my thing is, should our country start doing research on other countries who have banned
Well, yeah,
guns?
let's
And
be fair, it can't help. But I honestly don't think the media helps, especially like with the whole, like Black Lives Matter, police against civilians, because there was rioting here in London with all that Black Lives Matter. And the media showed footage of, some footage came out of the police beating like people with their sticks or whatever, or tasing them. And then the media released a footage of what, from one angle, the policeman was on a horse. I don't know if your police still have horses there.
some of them do
The police
not
was on a
here.
horse, like basically charging towards the crowd, and it looked like from that angle somebody had thrown something at the horse, so the guy riding it like fell off. Actually, when you looked at it from the other angle that somebody videoed on their phone, the guy hit the traffic light. Nothing, no one threw nothing. The policeman hit the traffic light and fell off. But when you watched it on the telly, the news was saying rioters have been attacking police, they've been scaring the horses, they've been doing this, they've been doing that. Well, in actual fact, that wasn't the case, you know. So obviously, I'm glad that we have like mobile phones and stuff now that can record stuff in a split second, because even these police that have got body cameras and stuff, you know, who's to
Mhm.
say you're ever going to see that footage if they're dodgy?
Yeah, and they just now instituted that body cam stuff, and to me, they should have been had that. But the thing about it, like you said, it depends. It depends on the officer, and it depends on if that precinct is going to actually release that footage to the
Exactly.
common people so
If
they can
somebody
see what
wants
really
something
went down.
to disappear and they're an officer of the law, they must think we're silly if we don't. You don't think that can disappear? Of course it can.
Well, I'm just saying, like, but and again, to touch on that though,
Mm.
I think just my opinion. If theft and burglary stabbings is the only thing we had to worry about, I would be happy because then that means somebody might go to jail for burglary, or there might be a stabbing. You can sew somebody up. I mean, unless you're like
So do you not
decapitating them
feel
or like.
safe unless you go out with and you're armed?
Well, it depends on the To me, it depends on the person. I personally have firearms,
Hmm.
but they're for home protection. And if I'm out and I know I'm going to be going somewhere that might be considered a rough area, or I know I'm going to be out a little late. Do I carry a firearm? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
is, uh, I mean, I'm assuming you're hoping you're never going to have to use it, right?
Exactly. The thing about firearms is that, a lot of people are not educated on how to use a firearm.
Well, exactly. You was in the military, so you're. I don't want to big you up, but it's almost like you're different. Do you know what I mean? So
Well, no, I mean, you got some people who, we got hunters here just like you guys. We have hunters here just like you guys. We have retired military people. We got retired officers here. And we have even in the Olympics they got pistol, competitions and stuff like that. We like that type of stuff. And I get it. If you're into those type of things, yes, you should be able to have a firearm. But I'm kind of like backpedaling back to like, you know, the criminal, the justice type part of it where you guys have nightsticks. I've even watched a couple movies that you guys or series that you have, like your police officers have nightsticks, you know, they still got body cams, but like they don't carry any guns. They don't carry no assault rifles, they don't do any of that. And my thing is, are we lacking, are we becoming lazy to the fact to where like what, if I have this gun, instead of talking to that criminal or talking him down or using other tactics, it's easier for me to just shoot him in the leg, or this time shooting him 6 times while walking away in his back.
but the other
It's
thing
kind
you've
of
got to
like
think about is
that
with
type of thing is
guns,
what's
how
going
many
on and
innocent
getting
people
caught.
like you? Sorry, what did you say?
I said, and that's what, and see, that's what media now is starting to catch. See, you know, there was a lot more killings that we probably don't know about just due to the simple fact that we didn't have the media and the capabilities that we have now. So now that we have them, I think, media can either intensify or de-escalate.
It's never going to de-escalate. It's a money
Oh no,
making
but we
scheme.
know
If
that.
it makes a headline, it's going to be on the front of the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like you mentioned, that woman, they broke into her house. Not just law enforcement. There's so many innocent people that get caught up in things like that. You know, um, so surely that's one reason to look at the whole gun thing, right?
Right, and that's sad because we've had a young man maybe a week or two ago that was killed innocently, just innocent, wrong, wrong place, wrong time. I don't know the whole story, but wrong place, wrong time, mistaken identity. The thing of it is that it's sad that this world has come to the point where police officers feel as though because they have a gun and because they wear the badge that they're above the law.
But not even police officers, like people that have guns and fight violent. Like when I was younger, oh God, I'm gonna sound really old. When I was younger, you just fought with your fists. What happened to that? You know, now
I
you
mean,
can't fight unless you got a weapon.
yeah, that's I mean, even with I'm gonna tell you right now, even with inner city, when we was coming up, you threw these hands. And 95% of the time when you threw these hands against somebody, you know what I mean? Two things that come out of it. Y'all either become friends
Hmm.
or frenemies. You see what I'm saying? So like 95% of the time, if you scrap with somebody and you use your left and your right hand, you was nice with it. You know what I mean? And like you either was like, yo, you lived to fight another day. You know what I mean? Even if
Hmm.
you still had beef with that guy, it was like, yo, you ran up on him, he ran up on you, and it was kind of like, oh, you still want some more? Or, you went on about your business, but now it's gotten to the point with this generation, like, I don't even know if they know how to even throw hands. Cause I remember when I was in the military, I was on the basketball court playing basketball, and these guys got into it. And I'm from a different state, so I never seen this, only in the movies. But the guy was like, they got the tussling. My man was like, you know what? I'm going to the trunk on you, and everybody scattered. I'm talking about like everybody dropped what they was doing, and it was kind of like that man went for his gun. Like, come on, man, just because you lost, now
Mm.
you want to kill that man? Like when I was
Because
coming
he's
up,
gonna then be the bigger man, do you know, or in society, he's gonna look like the bigger man, right? Because he won. It's all about winning, surely.
yeah, or it's all about the persona too, because
Well, that's what I
when you
mean.
get beat
Ego.
up, there's a stigmatism to that. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, Joe Smo got smashed on the basketball court the other day. Nobody wants to be walking around and somebody telling you, hey, this dude got beat up. But in the era that I come from, hey, it is what it is. You either win or you lose. But you
Mm.
live to talk about it. You live to discuss it. Like even like if y'all became friends, you could say, "Man, I remember me and John Doe down the street got into it, and now we friends, and we might be able to drink a beer and laugh at it. I remember how we met. You know what I mean? You was talking about my girl, I was talking about your girl, and we got the scrapping. Man, you really put it on me. Or you know what I mean? It was
Do you
I
think peer
considered it.
pressure though has anything to do with it? Because, like, say you get into a fight with somebody, and then you're like, if you lose, your mates are like, "Come on, man, let's show him, blah blah blah, whatever, whatever."
But like I said, I don't know if that is really happening. You know what I mean? As far as peer pressure is concerned, but like you said, um, back in the day, you threw these hands, and then it was over. Now it's like this generation now have no disregard. Like they don't care if you got a mama or daddy waiting at home or a grandparent waiting at home or and then the older guys, they don't care if like you got kids. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
here,
like no regard for life anymore. And now you put law enforcement in the mix of that, where law enforcement, I think a weapon should be the last thing that you need. You know what I mean? Like even in the military, we got the Code of Geneva, and this is it's a process to killing someone in the military. It's not just, a lot of people think that, you just land on the ground and you start shooting at folks because they shooting at you. No, there's a process to it. Do I think it's fair? No, but it's a process. So, you know what I mean? Everything has to be taught. And I feel like now that the legal system and the police are on the front line now, like I said, like you said, the exposure now is on the target of law enforcement. And like I said, you got a lot of good police officers out here, but you will never see them.
mm,
You gotta find it for yourself. The media is not putting that on TV. They're not putting on police officers playing basketball or police officers playing pass football in the street. You're not seeing, like, I actually looked on YouTube where they had a a drumline guy battling a police officer in the middle of the street, and they drew a crowd. Them is the type of crowds, and them is the type of things we need to see.
Mm.
But drama, sex, chaos sells in the
Of course
media.
it does, just like
So,
crime. But
and the thing to me, and so I don't want to take over, but the thing for me is that if England is doing it, why can't we do it? Or can we have some officials say, you know what? Let's look into some of these countries that have banned weapons only for hunting or, you know, special events.
but things like that will take like years and years. Like they're
Yeah.
not. Let's take old Biden when he comes in January or whatever. If he slapped a book on the desk and said, "Right, that's it. No one else is having any guns," then eventually we're going to take it away from the police. Because let's be honest, I don't think they'd ever take it away from the general public and still allow the police to have it, because that would just be ridiculous.
Right, right. I agree.
And that's going to take years, like I said.
Because they're talking about defunding here, they're talking about defunding the police. They're talking about dismantling the police. I think the police is a good thing. And it's just that it's been overshadowed with a lot of negativity, and especially in the inner city. You know what I
Mm.
mean? You got a lot of people who don't live in the inner city, never grew up in the inner city, don't know the inner city workings, and they become police officers who are probably never seen a black person before, never seen a Hispanic person before, probably ain't never seen the type of violence they only see on TV. So, you know, you get these people out here that get nervous, get scared. You know, you see an angry black man come towards you, instead of just saying, hey, you know, man, calm down. The first thing they want to do is pull out a weapon.
Mm.
Don't ask what the, like we had a gentleman here in Philadelphia that had a mental issue, you know what I mean? And they called 911 on him, and they came out. Did we hear anything about them saying, hey, you know, we try to apprehend him, talk him down? No, they shot that man.
Was that
You
the
know,
man that was laying in the street? What
uh,
clip was a man laying in the street?
there's so many people, there's so many of us
No,
laying in the
that's
street.
that was a terrible
Yeah,
example of me. Sorry.
it's
But
okay.
I know for our police, like you talking about like they're always talking about funding and stuff, but any dealings I've had to do with the police in the last few years, which I don't necessarily mean directly or necessarily indirectly, they always say they're short staffed. There's not enough staff. There's not enough police to put them on the street or do this or do that, So, which makes me laugh now that this corona's going on, that they are
Mm.
using the police. Like in the last lockdown, I got stopped. We were only allowed out for essential journeys. I went to do some shopping. On the way back, the police pulled me over, said, "Can I just ask where you're going?" I said, "Yeah, I went to do some shopping. Look, it's there on the back seat of my car." And he looked, yeah, he said, "Yeah, no worries. We're just checking everyone's journey is actually essential. You can carry on your journey home now." To me, that's a wasted that's a waste of time. Only in the next road to me, and I only know this because someone put it on social media, the police were there yesterday because there was 20 people inside a house. So someone's obviously grasped on them, a neighbour or whatever, and said, "Listen, you're not
Yes,
allowed
we
to be
should.
in anybody else's house."
Hmm.
Umpteen police cars to get these people to go home, you know.
Well, I'm gonna tell you here, because I work for the government, so I'm considered essential. So what they had for us the very first lockdown, which we haven't had any since, but we had they printed out a memorandum for us. So like if I was heading to work or leaving for work and I got pulled over, I had to show them,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
we
the
had that here
memorandum
too.
that I am essential and I'm coming from work or, you know,
And I
going
just
to
got to
work.
cover my own back. Let's not get it twisted about that house that had 20 people in. I'm not saying I agree with it. What I'm saying is, why send 5 police cars with like a million cops to just
Oh, well,
the
that's,
door and say, "Can you go home?" They're not using their resources properly. Do you know what I mean?
but I mean, guess what? That's everywhere.
Mm.
We had one guy get pulled over and it was like 6 cops. It's like what? There's 2 cops per car. It was 3 cop cars and 6 cops. For what? For a traffic violation? Come on. And it's just I feel like now it's just now they're just going overboard. Okay. You know what I mean? I think that like you said, sometimes it's too excessive. I think it's excessive. Like, I can understand if like the man ran his card and he's a, you know, convicted felon, or he's been, what I mean? They've
Mm,
been looking for him or something like that, and something like that. But not even a convicted felon, because some of them, what I mean, have been doing doing what they're supposed to do. Got home, made a mistake, come home, cleaned up their act. What I mean, and it might show up on their driver's license, this, that, and the third. But to me, it's just excessive. It's just excessive. And in the inner city, it's just truly excessive.
mm.
Like, we were just down the street what, Saturday, and they had paddy wagons. They had 4 or 5 cars. They blocked off the whole street, and for what?
What's a patty wagon?
A paddy wagon is where it's like a van where they put multiple people,
Oh,
get
okay.
caught inside that joint and take them downtown or take them to the, you know what I mean? We call those paddy
I
wagons.
mean, like you had the whole recently, George Floyd incident, which
Hmm.
was ridiculous, a joke, and me and my dad have had conversations about it. Obviously I'm white. I grew up in a white family, but my son is mixed race. I went to school where it was mixed. Whereas my dad grew up in a white household, still lives in a white household in a white village. So as far as he's concerned, if you don't see it, it's not happening. So we've had umpteen
Hmm.
conversations about it, but we had a big case. In 93, there was a guy called Stephen Lawrence who was murdered on his way home uh, at a bus station by a white gang. And that's a big, like, he's still mentioned in the news now, really big, because obviously an innocent guy, black guy, murdered by a white gang. And to be fair, two of them only got convicted in 2012, which, God, what's that, 93 to 2012? Imagine being that guy's mum.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they
Well,
only got life, which is a minimum of 15 years.
yeah. Well, just imagine your child being handcuffed behind his back, knee on your neck. He's screaming he can't breathe,
Mm,
and you got several other officers standing around, and no one wants to say, "Hey, man, get off that man."
mm.
There's nothing more he can do once his hands just, you know, uh, behind his
Do
back.
you know whatever happened to those cops? Did they get sentenced or anything? Or
No, they still going through the. From my understanding, they're still going through it. None of them have been charged. It's a
this is
mess.
what I don't understand. It's literally right there. Not even a statement from somebody. You can see it with your own eyes on a video.
It's
Um,
look, it's a
and
mess.
even like my dad was saying, oh, basically he was saying he can't believe it's in the news again. And I said, look at that guy. What if that was your son? I have a son. I could not imagine. I couldn't imagine looking at footage like that of my son, and you would be off your rocker if you think I'm not going to mention it until they get what they deserve. You must be joking.
I'd lose it.
Oh my God, exactly. But this is the thing, right? This is what I find. Maybe it's just me because I have bad luck, but let's just say something happened to my son, right? And and they were like they are now. Oh, we're just waiting for a court date or whatever. Nothing's happened to the guys. They're still out there walking the streets, living their life as they like. If I then went and did something, I'd be locked up literally straight away. They'd lock me up and chuck away the key,
Hmm.
even though I was
Oh yeah,
just, looking for
and
justice.
and they would call you a vigilante.
Of course, this is the bit. This is what I don't understand. I don't understand.
Well, I feel like the legal system, they protect their own,
Of course,
and then the people who fight against it, they shun on them. They shun on them like, oh, you're a sellout, or But my thing is, you signed up to protect people, not just your own. You signed up to protect people. That's including people that you don't know.
it
That's including people in harm's way. But my thing is, I think that people of authority that have weapons, they kind of lost You know what I mean? I think they just kind of got lazy and not using their head because, you know, just like you said, you're gonna have crime no matter where you go. But I'd rather deal with burglary than homicide.
I get that, but don't you think it's interesting how we started talking about crime and automatically it turns around to dodgy police rather than crime as in,
As a
crime.
whole,
Yeah.
because that's what's going on now. It's
Mm,
like I said, the media has put a shine on law enforcement, and I mean, good or bad, that's what's going on now. That is like the topic of discussion. And right now, me being a minority, you know what I mean, I'm nervous for my sons.
mm,
You know what I mean? I have sons. My oldest will be 21, my youngest will be 19. And my every day I think about it. You know what I
mm,
mean? They could be just going to the store and be mistaken for someone else and just
mm.
get shot. You know what I mean?
I know.
No
And
questions asked.
to,
When we was coming up, we really didn't deal with the police as much
mm,
as this generation is dealing with them. We didn't deal with them as much. Look, if we got into a scrap, it was done and over with. Now, you know what really bothers me is now, even if there's a scrap, you know what I mean? Grown folks would break that up. Neighbors would break it up. Neighbors be like, get break it up, go home, do this,
Nan
do that.
used to break it up all
But
the time.
now everybody's got their phones out and they're watching
Mm.
it. No one's breaking up nothing. I seen they had two girls fighting in a beauty shop. Everybody's recording it, but no one's breaking it up. What happened to what
Because
happened to
people are
face to face?
scared if they break it up, they're going to end up getting like injured or shot themselves.
True that. But in the same token, when we was coming up, it took a village. So like if you in a neighborhood and you know that kid or you know them kids and you see them getting into something, we had parents that would come off the porch and snatch you up. You sit right here. Jermaine, you go down the street. You know what I mean? Go on home. That's enough.
But
Go
now,
on.
but to be honest,
Now,
I'm one of those people. I would look at it and think, God, if that was my son or daughter, I'd like to think that somebody would help them.
mhm.
But I've actually been that person that's got involved before and just ended up getting abuse from the people who was doing it. Just really got abuse, honestly. Like, mind your
Oh,
business, blah blah blah, this that and the other,
well,
spitting,
that's what I'm
you
saying. It's
know.
just this generation. I just don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I try to figure it out. My sons would tell me they had video recording of fights in school,
But
and no one's breaking it up.
you say that
Fights in
you're
the lunchroom and
you
stuff
say
like
that
that.
you're worried about your sons. I'm worried about my son too. Like, we have experienced like racism when like he's only 8, and we've experienced when we've gone out to my mum's house, we've experienced racism. Like, a white guy like verbally abused us. I can't even tell you what he said because this is, well, my mum don't want me to swear, and B, it's not nice. But I mean, and that he was 8. He's 8 now, and that was
You
like
don't
a
know
year
no
or
better.
so
He's
ago.
innocent, and that's the thing with this world is that you want to try to take an innocent out of an 8-year old, which to me, grow up. You should be ashamed of yourself if you're gonna throw some racism jargon at a single mom. You know what I mean? And her 8-year-old mixed child. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? But
Okay, I got a question for you about the whole crime thing at the minute, right?
go for it.
Remember, this is just our opinions, so say what you want because you know I will. Do
Mhm,
you think, I don't, by the way, I'm literally just asking you the question, I want your opinion. Do
mhm.
you think that either A, rap music, or B, video games plays a part in violence with young kids?
No,
Yes. Because I find that
no, absolutely not.
a lot of old people or the older generation blame that. Um, like, you've got this, you've got that, they're influenced by that. I don't believe that one iota.
One iota.
Mhm,
Look, entertainment is entertainment. And the
mhm,
thing about that, rap music, I'm gonna tell you, I love rap music. I love hip hop. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And rap music is nothing but storytelling. Okay. Now, is there some truth to what they're saying? Maybe. But is it something to get attention and to, glorify? A lot of these rappers are just glorifying stuff that they wanted to do or doing, but a lot of it's just
I
over
personally think it's in
exaggeration.
your mindset. If you're that type of, like, take your mass shootings, for example,
Mm-hmm.
someone's brain is wired differently to think like that, regardless of whether they listen to music or play a video game or whatever. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyway. Like when I was younger, I used to listen to jungle music, and there was one song that used to say all the time, um, what happened to Ricky? I don't know. He just got shot, and then it starts going pew, 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 Did I then want to go out and shoot someone because I listened to that song? No, you know.
Yeah. And people don't understand. People listen to music for different things. Some people like the beat. Some
Mm,
people they love the bass in the music. Some people like the lyrics. You know what I mean? How they put those lyrics together, the metaphors. You know what I mean? The
mhm.
the you know what I mean? The rhyme that is put together and the thought process that comes into that hip hop. Ain't nobody taking hip hop and saying, you know, if that was the case, Brenda got a baby. What about the positive songs? See, that's the thing. You can't base one song without talking about another.
But
You
it's
see
a
what I'm saying?
blame game.
Like Dear Mama, no one's talking about that. But if you got a song called Cop Killer, then everybody wants to sit there and say, oh, that song's influencing young people to kill cops. Come on,
It's a
man.
blame
It's
game. Somebody's
excuses.
the buck's got to stop somewhere, right? So
It's excuses.
I totally agree, and I'm so glad we're on the same page with that.
Yeah, like I'm gonna give you. We got what is the most popular game right now? Black Ops,
Oh,
uh,
Call of
uh,
Duty.
Call of Duty, Black Ops. They got like several of them. Do you see people lining up to go into the military? No.
I never
You
looked at
got,
it like that.
you know what I mean? You got Halo, which is like almost like in the military. Do you see kids playing these games and running out there and wanting to join the armed services? No, because
Mm,
it's a game. That's all it is. It's entertainment. And this generation, that's what they're into. I
mm.
remember when we first got our first Nintendo or Sega, wasn't nobody running around here
No,
thinking,
you just
oh
collected
man,
mushrooms and coins, right, as Mario till you got the princess.
yeah, we had double dribble. Was that making us go outside and want to join the NBA? No, it was a game. Madden, people, they play Madden for money. Do you see people talking about, hey man, I did so good in Madden. I think I'm gonna go into football. Come on, man. Like, no, it's entertainment and it's for enjoyment. It stimulates the mind. I mean, it's just excuses. They just want to use anything and everything, but the simple truth is that they're taking advantage and they're going above the law and they're
Hmm.
abusing this system. That's what's really going on. You know what I mean?
So if you
Bullets
saw,
have
if
no
you, if you,
people kill people. Bullets don't.
mhm.
People kill people.
If you saw a fight, would you attempt to, like, break it up?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Grown men, no. But if it's some kids or something, yeah, I'm gonna break that up. But if it's two grown men, because
What,
I've learned
even
from
if you
past
saw they had
history.
even if you saw they had weapons?
Yeah, teenagers, yeah. Even if they had weapons, I would break
Really?
that up. Mhm. But the thing about it though, when you're an adult and you're breaking up two adults, I've learned from past history, it's always the one who's trying to break it up gets the most damage. Now, if there's some teenagers in there and they're trying to go at each other, my job as an adult is not to let that continue. Because just imagine if me as an adult, I got somebody, my kids are the same age as these two kids fighting in the street. I think it's my duty to break that up. Because say if I were to walk away and say that kid hits that kid and he hits his head and it's over. Now, you got one that's dead and you got one that's going to jail. And guess what? Both their lives are ruined.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That's a generation right there that could have been doing something positive, but yet we let it go. and walk on down the street. Now, too grown up, I ain't getting in the middle of that.
Well, the highest age for crime rate here is 25 to 34. So that's classed as a grown adult, right?
Yeah, young adults.
Mm.
We got the same age. We got the same age bracket, or probably a little younger. We just got a young man that's in the news right now. They charging him as an adult. He's a teenager for a homicide. So I mean, it's getting to the point here, is that the crime here is getting so bad that they're trying not. I think the system is just getting tired of homicides becoming younger and younger and younger.
You say that, and also you said earlier about like the whole police thing, like just being a thing now because of the videos and stuff. But I've watched that When They See Us on Netflix. That was some time ago, right? It's
Yes.
always been the case.
Yes, it's always been the case.
And let me tell you, I cried. I mean, there's what, 4 parts, and they're like an hour and a half each. I
Oh my
watched one
God, yeah.
after the other, and I
What's it, the
literally
Brooklyn
cried.
Five, or
I
yeah,
cried the
them
whole way
five
through.
gentlemen, they got exonerated after doing years in prison. Oh, sad. It's really
Exactly.
sad.
I just think, imagine if that was your son, you know.
Mm,
I think my problem is
tragic.
I look at most situations like that. Oh my God, what if that was Alfie? You know, oh my God, what if that was Alfie? That's just,
Yeah, it's
it's good.
scary. It's
Mm.
scary to think about. But my thing is, I hope someone's listening to our show, because I really think there should be some type of legislative, some type of investigating into countries, like I said before, such as England, who banned firearms for law enforcement unless you're in, like involved in like hunting. We have a lot of hunting going on here
Mm.
and a lot of like tournaments and stuff like that. But I think if we didn't have officers with guns, I think civilians would take heed to that too. You know what I mean? So like if we didn't have guns and now the you have to start now using your head. You have to now start using what you got up here to exercise. You got to exercise your mind. You're not just saying, you know what, I got this gun. This is an easy resolution to solving this problem. You actually have to use your head now to problem solve. You know what I mean? You have to really think about, okay, look, I'm getting ready to, you might get a call in from 911. There's a, you know, uh, domestic situation going on, and now you're there, and they might not have any guns. You know what I mean? He
Mm.
might just be slapping her around, or she might be slapping him around, and vice versa. But now you have to use your head now. You have to really problem solve that situation. Now they talking about bringing counselors in on what are they supposed to be, ride-alongs now, counselors,
Hmm.
when overseas, like you said, over there, they don't have counselors riding along with them. No, they got officers who are using their head and using their best judgment on how to handle the situation at hand. Here, I feel like as long as you have a gun, and if you feel as though you can't solve that situation using your head, I'm just going to shoot them and that be done with it. And that's how I feel. That's my opinion. I feel like we're using less of our brain.
But it's going to be a catch 22 situation, because civilians ain't going to give their guns up if the police haven't given their guns up, and the police ain't going to be the
Exactly.
ones to give their guns up first, because that was just not going to be the case. Otherwise, civilians would have guns and police wouldn't. So that doesn't make
Well, I
sense.
think it would. I think it should be down to a joint venture. We're not just gonna ban it for police officers and not ban it for civilians.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like you said, crime is going to be everywhere. Like you sit there and say, like you told me not too long ago, yeah, we might not have guns. Guns might be banned here, but we do have people that have guns.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I
Of course
mean,
you do. When you watch those gangster films and stuff, it's not just for the movies,
hmm yeah.
but yeah. No guns for us.
No
I
gun.
personally, if they had guns here, this is another catch-22. If we were like you and we had guns, would I have one? As it stands now, no, I wouldn't want one. But if someone's going to bust into my home with a gun, unless I've got one to try and self-defend myself, I'll be bollocked. I'll be, I can't even say it without swearing, but I'll be in trouble, you know.
Yeah.
So I can see
Well, that's
why
what I'm
people
saying.
would
Like
have guns.
here, like I said, I don't walk around here looking for a fight. You know what I mean? I like to practice. I like going to the shooting range. You know, that's something that I'm into. But like for my home, yes, I think, yes, I want to protect my home. I worked hard for this place, and I want to protect the people who are in this home and in and around my home. Like, you know what I mean?
But that's the
If
thing. Like I remember there was a case once. There was a farmer. Obviously, the farmer's got a shotgun for his farm, and
Mhm.
somebody broke into his house, attacked him. So he shot them. He ended up potentially going to prison because he'd shot the person, even though it was self-defense. That would be my luck, you know.
Mhm.
Honestly, that would be my
But
luck.
see, there's different situations. We don't know. I mean, we don't know that whole story, though. You know what I mean? Like he could have been breaking into his home because of something else that that man done did. You know what I mean? We don't know. There's two sides to a story. You know.
No,
Now if you
there's
just
three.
sitting at
Hold on.
home,
There's three sides to a story: your version, my version, and the truth.
okay, truth.
Remember that.
All right, I got that.
Your version, you're always going to make yourself sound best. My version, I'm always going to make me sound the best. The truth is the truth.
Agreed.
Whoop.
I'll agree with that. Hands down,
Right.
I agree with that.
So
And I just
we.
got. I'm gonna tell you right now. I just got a little information. My Eagles lost. It was
Oh, sorry about that.
enough to make you throw up.
Okay, so let's make sure we end the show on a high then, because obviously that's a bit of a dip. So we had the incident with the films. You couldn't watch yours. I couldn't watch mine.
I couldn't watch mine. You couldn't watch yours. So
No.
what we
So
came up with?
we
Well,
we tried to find some. Well, I'm going to take credit. It was my suggestion to say let's find
yeah, it was yours.
some films about crime, if you like. I find English ones, you find American ones. Now, I could have told you to watch The Craze because they were obviously gangsters from back in the day,
I
but
love that movie.
you
I
wouldn't
love
have seen that.
that movie.
Plus, then there's Lock,
Praise
Stock,
people. Love that movie.
Snatch, all things like that, but you would have seen them.
Yes.
So, I've actually got two. They're all after each other. They're the same thing, like all the same actors. One's called Kidulthood, one's called Adulthood.
Hold on. Kid, adulthood.
No, Kidult, Kidult, Kidulthood, and then Adulthood.
And then adulthood. I got
Adulthood,
two good ones.
I'm talking like you now. Adulthood is the second one that follows on from that. You haven't seen them, I take it.
Mm-mm. I gave you,
Hallelujah.
I gave you two classics though.
You might have done, but it ain't my fault. I can't watch them.
I know, but I'm gonna give you two.
What have you got to bring to the table today?
I got Heat with
Heat.
Al Pacino. Yep, it's called
I've
Heat.
seen that.
You seen Heat
Yeah.
with Al Pacino?
Who hasn't seen Heat?
My
Anyway,
bad, then. Have you seen Have you seen The Godfather?
oh my God. I love The Godfather. All of them.
How about No Country for Old Men?
No, who's in that?
Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to watch it if you ain't seen it. No Country for Old Men.
But who's in it? I might have seen it.
You ain't seen it if you're gonna ask me who's in it.
Okay, well,
Hold up. I'm gonna give you another one. Hold on. You just ain't be doing me like that.
well, let me just say, I gave you films based on what our topic was about, so like crime in London and stuff.
Yeah, these are crime in the US. What are you talking
Okay,
about?
but my films are like real people, not like a big cinema showstop. Oh, I can't even explain it. You'll see it when you watch it.
Okay, then. Hold on.
God, he's got a list.
Yeah, I sure do. I came with it. How about, have you seen Animal Kingdom?
Animal Kingdom. No.
It's loosely based on, yeah, watch that. It's loosely based on crime, a crime family. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, not that Tiger King dude.
Mm-hmm. But from the 1980s.
Oh my
It's called Animal Kingdom.
God.
Check that.
More.
So No Country for Old Men and Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
Take that.
Wow.
What do you think? So I'm gonna watch these two movies today.
Oh yeah, blimey, you're an eager beaver.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go, do you have any nicknames for the police there? I know you call them the police or the cops. Do you call them anything else?
Well, I'm gonna start nothing.
Oh, I'm stating mine. Don't worry about that. Like we have police, and we call them the old Bill. Now I don't know why. Maybe it's because we used to have a TV show about the police on called The Bill. I don't know if it's related, so nobody message me and say you were talking nonsense. But they're called the old Bill. Some people call them the pigs. Some people call them the old filth.
Uh-huh.
The Rozzers. I don't really know what that is or where that come from, but that's another one. I personally call him the old filth. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, they call them beat cops. So them is cops that just walk around
Oh yeah,
on the
Bobby on the
street.
beat. That's what they call him
Yeah,
here.
beat cops. You know, they've been called pigs. I haven't called them pigs, but
Nah.
they've been called pigs.
Mm.
Slew footers, you know what I mean? That's an old terminology.
Blue footers.
Yeah, don't I it's an old terminology. I couldn't tell you. But to me, the popo,
Okay.
we call them the popo, or you know what I mean, ops, you know what I mean? Them are snitches and cops. So you know what I mean? I don't know.
And this is probably the reason why I've never been a cop or wanted to be one. I'm telling you for a fact now, if I was a cop, I'd be dodgy as hell. I'd be locking up everyone I didn't like, letting everyone I did like go free. If they had loads of like like they have lost
You're
property,
absolutely right.
lost property. Say somebody's stolen all these goods, I'll be like, whoa, look at that watch. What happened to that? Don't know where that went. Woo,
Yeah,
look at my watch.
that's just why you're not a cop. That's just why. You that's why you ain't a cop.
I'd be like the female Robin Hood. You know when he robs from the rich to give to the poor. I'd be like
I
that, but
mean,
with
you just
criminals.
got done. You just showed yourself copping a watch and then wearing it. Like, ooh,
Yeah, because
how is that
nobody
robbing?
don't you
How's that
think they
robbing
do
the
that
rich to get to
anyway?
the poor? How's that robbing the rich getting to the poor? If it's
Oh,
nowhere,
I didn't say I was rich.
you see, that's just why we are here
I
and
know.
not in law enforcement.
Well, anyway, we'll see if anyone listens to get your law passed about the guns being looked into. Biden, he does know your name now. Your name is Joseph. So maybe if you're listening, he apologises he didn't know your name. He does now. If you could look at this to get your guns removed, he would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, who's? Oh, you're talking about Biden?
Oh my God! Don't listen, Joe. He does know who you are.
Yeah, I am. I am listening. Trust me, I am listening. I hope he's listening or somebody. Yes, so you got two movies to watch. I got two movies to watch.
And got to say, I know yours are two. The ones I gave you are absolute bangers. So I'm hoping that you've actually given
I
me.
hope they ain't like the last couple real
No, do you
old.
know what
They
I can
like
tell you for a
they
fact they're
close.
like? You know, you watch
Are they close to this era?
Okay, this is what you know. You watch Top Boy.
I love Top Boy.
It's like Top Boy in a film. Them as kids, them as adults. I
Oh,
bought it
okay.
this week. I bought my A game.
Okay, well then I'm gonna have to get on that then. I'm gonna have to get on that.
Whenever
All
you're
right,
does
people.
Joe.
I know I did. I did
Oh
kind
my God, I forgot to say on the last show as well. We are actually now streaming as a podcast on a
of.
number
Oh
of different
yes,
platforms.
on a numerous
Spotify,
different platforms.
Google,
Mm-hmm.
Pandora.
Yep.
I'm really sorry I can't remember the rest, but there's about 6 or 7 different platforms that we are podcasting on. And we've got an
Did you say
Instagram
Spotify?
page. I said Spotify, but thank you for having my
Did you
back.
say iTunes?
I didn't know, but thanks for having my back.
Just wanted to put that
But we also have an Instagram page as well.
in. Mm-hmm.
feel free to come and follow us.
Yeah, and give us some input.
Yes, we love
Movie,
interacting. We love
movie
when you,
topics.
yeah, sending us pictures of your fridge magnets and your merch. Love
Yeah,
it.
now if you subscribe, what we've been trying to do is keep up with, some people who let us know that they've subscribed. We've been mailing out, you know, across the pond refrigerator magnets. And then we want you to, once you get one, take a nice little picture. You can either
And tag us
post it
on
on
social media.
Instagram. You could tag us on Instagram with your pretty picture. We'll put it in the story.
Love it.
Love
Thank
it.
you for this evening, Rich, on our very serious topic.
Oh yeah, man. You know what I mean? I don't want to say, forget the police, but you know what I mean?
Just
I
be
just want
vigilant.
I just want all of us just to get along.
Okay, thanks for talking into the mic. Much appreciated.
So this is Soph.
This is Rich.
And we are from
Across
across
the
the
pond.
pond.
Have a lovely week, Rich. I'm going to see
Hey, you
you
too. Don't
on
work.
Friday.
Yes, don't work too hard.
I won't ever. Watch out for the police.
Mm-hmm. Give Alfie a hug for me.
I will. Say hi to your sister for me. I hope she's better.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get ready to call her right now.
Okay. Take care.
Hey, you too.